Hello, everyone. This is Will.
This is Alex.
Welcome back to another episode of They Mostly Come Out at Night.
Oh boy. Mostly.
Wow. Just wow.
I can't.
I think
I can't.
my brain melted watching this.
Yeah. This actually.
I just I don't even know. I'm like you at the end of this movie. Like you literally said this multiple times. I was just like, I don't know what to say.
Well, the one thing I'll say is there are those movies that people talk about where it's like, oh, it feels like a dream, or it feels like a nightmare,
Yeah.
and that's what I feel like. I feel like I just witnessed someone's nightmare that they brought to horrible shot on video celluloid.
Yeah, but usually those movies are it feels like a nightmare, that's really well done. You feel and you're in the surreal dream and it's really well made like that. This is the opposite of that, where it's it feels like a nightmare just because watching it is kind of a nightmare.
Well, here's the thing. They're obviously going for that surrealism thing.
Yeah.
But there is so many beyond baffling choices. I don't and that's once you get to the second half of the movie.
So, before we get into the movie, which we watched Sledgehammer,
Sledgehammer,
which is an experience all in itself, but if you want a real experience, you can find this podcast, if you enjoy this episode, on every single podcasting site available,
every platform
known to humankind. You fucking, I like Spotify, we're on there. iHeartRadio, I think we're on there too. Just all the popular ones. We're even on YouTube. We're on Instagram. We're on Reddit, of all things.
Anywhere we are,
we're everywhere.
Follow us, like us, do your business.
Drop us a comment, a follow. I mean, I know it seems simple, but it really helps out. So
somebody had a request for us, and if you are listening, I assure you, it's on the list.
Yeah, you can request stuff. We hear you. We'll get to it, even if it's in past years. We can go back on a special and review a movie that you've requested.
And that's what we'll do for this one, because one of you requested a movie from past year. So
yeah, and we'll do it.
We'll get it.
If you want to see our take on those movies, suggest it. That's the best way to do it.
As long as they fit within our guidelines, please. But yeah.
So just that's all we're asking. Just a follow.
It's simple.
Nothing more than that.
That's it.
That's all we need from you. So we will do our part to entertain you, and all you have to do is do your part to follow us and continue enjoying the show if you do like us.
Please.
And if you don't, well, that's a personal choice.
It's fine.
So, it's up to you, whatever you want to do.
It's fine.
You're wrong, but, it's okay.
I mean, you're obviously wrong, but,
no, it's fine. It's personal choice, it's whatever.
You're free to be wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
That's fine.
Yeah, everyone is entitled to their wrong opinion. But, anyway, so, Sledgehammer.
Speaking of wrong opinions, Sledgehammer.
This is the wrong way to do this kind of movie. You are right. This is it's they had a cool concept, right?
And here's the thing. I'm not gonna lie. There are little bits of this that I don't mind.
There's some pretty good ideas being thrown around, and honestly, some of the effects are pretty effective, especially at the end. That's about where the compliments stop, though.
Yeah.
Because, man, this is a rough watch.
Because listen, all I wanted, it's like that song, all I wanted was a Pepsi.
Yeah.
All I wanted was a fucking movie about a guy killing people with sledgehammers.
Well, I mean, that's what you think, right? Legitimately, you watch.
If you look at the plot synopsis.
The
That's
plot
what you get.
synopsis is a guy killing people with a sledgehammer in a small house in the woods, right? But like, so you go into this and you watch it, and the title screen appears, and it's all blood red, and there's a bunch of people.
Don't
And
forget the title is like it's made out of like clay.
well, and they smash it with a sledgehammer,
Yeah.
which is okay, fitting. But like, you're watching all these people in this like blood red filter,
It's like a
and
negative.
it's like, it's the typical like horror movie opening where it's like it's showing all your characters, and you're like, okay, cool. I'm gonna watch these people try and survive this horrific like night with a guy killing people with a sledgehammer. It's fine. Like,
Yeah.
like typical slasher sledgehammer, whatever.
It gets to that eventually.
You get a
Sort of.
killer with his weapon of choice, which is a sledgehammer, and he's just gonna murk people.
Yeah,
Left,
cool.
left, and right. Cool.
Cool.
I'm down for that. You know what? I like slasher movies. I'm down for that. Let's enjoy that.
But here's the thing. It is shot on video. So
Yes. Now,
like our last film.
honestly, I think when we get to, I don't know, like I see this concept of like this shot on home video working in some respects, because you could do like that kind of nitty gritty vibe.
Here's the thing. There are people who enjoy this movie and movies like this because
Well, and I get it.
it is
Honestly.
that like nitty gritty like it's unpolished. It's not clean,
I kind of
crisp.
I kind of get that, because I like the clean, the unclean, like
Yeah.
aesthetic, right?
'Cause it's
I
just-
like it because it's like it's dirty. It's
Yeah.
like it feels like a gritty, like
It's
just
not made by the system.
home video gone horrifically wrong.
It's
It's great.
Homebrew
Yes.
is the word you're
And it
looking
can
for.
work because there's like movies like Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
To be fair,
which
that was filmed on film.
It is filmed on film, but
It has the aesthetic.
It kind of has that aesthetic where it looks gritty and like just mean and dirty,
Yeah,
right? And just sloppy and like purposely sloppy.
perfectly. Yeah.
And so like I can see how shot on video could have that effect, right?
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to get
Because
at.
it's the
Like,
next level.
Because
to that.
it's like more personal and more like kind of more,
It's just
it kind of gets you more, like, what's the word? Sorry, I'm trying to look for it. Immersion. So it's
Yeah.
like it gets you more immersed because it feels like someone just shooting this like raw, like uncut like version of events,
and to be fair, a lot of this does feel like that because
which is great. And the ending actually, like,
there's just
although
scenes.
it's very confusing,
Yeah.
which we will get to, like frustratingly confusing. I think if they would have went a different route, it could have been effective.
If it was more competently
Yeah,
made.
if it was more competently made, the ending could have been really, really effective. Because I think if they
It's a
had,
cool idea.
it is a cool idea. But anyway, we'll get to there. Sorry, I kind of went off on a tangent about that. But I'm just trying to appease like people who may get mad at us for like shitting on this movie because they love it. I get the concept.
Yeah.
I really do. I just really did not like the execution.
I wish that they.
It didn't.
I wish they used their brain a little more
It
when they
didn't
made
strike
this.
a chord with me at all, because I don't want to be confused and I don't want to be fucked around. And guess what? I was confused and we were fucked around with.
Well, another term for fucked around with, Will, is I don't like my time wasted.
Well, yeah, and a lot of this does feel like padding.
Because it is.
Because there's a
padded.
lot of slow-mo. There's a lot of nonsensical scenes that go literally nowhere.
Boy,
and-
if you like slow mo, this is your film.
And it's obviously, that's what was frustrating about this movie, because it was obviously just slow-mo to pad out the runtime.
Oh, like the iconic love frolicking.
Okay, so I guess we'll get the concept down. So so the first scene you see is a woman and a child in a room,
And she's like yelling at the child.
she's yelling because the child won't leave her alone, and so she shoves him in a closet
and locks the door.
and locks the door and goes outside to her lover and is like, well, he won't be bothering us anymore. He wouldn't.
Am I sexy?
Yeah.
And then the guy's like, oh, yeah. Damn.
It's like, he wouldn't shut up. I had to take care of him.
He'll leave us alone now, and we don't have to worry about your wife or my husband.
And he's like, damn,
But
okay.
don't forget, we get this like awkward, fucking slow mo zoom on the door. Also her locking the kid
It's slow mo.
in the room is also slow mo.
What should have been like maybe a 30-second scene is literally like a few.
I would say like 10 seconds.
Yeah,
it's
like
just
a
her.
10-second. It's just her putting a kid in a closet and locking him in.
But it's like you get a 30-second shot of just her turning the fucking lock.
Well, what's weird is like all these slow mo scenes just running out to like minutes long, and it could have just been this quick little scene.
Yeah, and then you get like a
It
minute
doesn't
of.
have to be like this.
It's just the door. It's literally just the door.
And start the frustration if you hate slow mo like this, because you better get fucking used
This
to
is
it.
the movie.
You better get fucking used to it, because this is the entire movie. Like
Yeah.
there's no chill on the slow mo.
No, it's pure padding. It's wasting your fucking time. And then the guy, they're dancing, and then she goes down and like is like by his like fucking crotch,
You know what she's gonna do, and then you see a sledgehammer in the background,
like in a shadow.
and then it like comes down on his head, and it like smashes his head in, and I was like, okay, cool. They're going for some effects. That looks
Yeah, we get an effect
pretty
of
decent.
like a puppet head
like caving in.
smashed in.
Yeah.
And then he falls down, and then we just get a POV, slow-mo POV, of her, and she's like saying like, "No, stop," but it's all muted.
Well, again, and this it goes on for so long because she's crawling
back, yeah.
and it's like slow mo, and it's like this should have been like it could be a longer scene. That's fine, but like they padded out to like minutes long. Like it feels like an eternity before.
It should have been no longer than like 20 seconds, because all it is she calls to the back of the room, and then this sledgehammer, it's off camera, but it starts smashing her, and then there's
Well, and
blood
then
on
you
the
see
wall.
blood splatter, and then
But it's like that slow mo, like any emotion, any tension you're feeling, it's like a vacuum.
well,
It
it's
just sucks it out.
it's like the anti-effect of what they were going for, right? Because they wanted this horrific scene
Supposedly,
where
yeah.
like these people were getting brutally murdered, and they wanted slow mo so you really felt like scared. But that's not how you do that.
It just
Because
keeps
slow mo just
going and going.
honestly, like for me, slow mo just takes you out of the fucking movie. Like it's just like you're literally just waiting at that point for the fucking scene to
because
end.
what's gonna happen,
Yes.
because it's the beginning of the movie. She's gonna die.
When honestly, to be fair, in my opinion, I think the opposite is true. Quick scenes with horrific shit going on
Yeah.
are way scarier than slow motion.
Unless you have some fucking gnarly shit to show off.
Yeah, like really just top-notch special effects.
But like horror
like
movies,
gore
especially,
effects, yeah.
like if horror movies, you really shouldn't be using slow mo.
I get it in action movies.
Yeah,
More so than horror. But horror, you want quick, especially in a slasher movie. You want quick.
Yeah.
You want like real quick deaths, real quick violent deaths,
Yeah.
and fucking just all throughout the movie,
And
right?
it's gotta keep
because
going.
it has to be like a steam train, like it never fucking stops, like just relentless.
but no,
But no, this movie takes its fucking time.
waste your fucking time.
So again, it enters our
Our characters.
well.
Oh, it's 10 years later.
No, here's where I really love it, because it starts to enter this thing where they love to show still images of certain things. So
Are you talking about when they when the scenes end?
yeah, when they show, well, also specifically when they show the house at the end when
Don't talk to me about the house, Will.
they were murdered.
There's
Because
so
it
many
shows, like,
slow mo shots.
It shows an exterior of the house
It's a picture.
for like, I'm not even kidding. Like in movie length, this is like a sin, like a minute long.
Yeah.
And if you don't think a minute is long, try watching this movie and just looking at a house for a minute. Just
It's a house. There's nothing.
and maybe it's
sinister.
not a minute, but it felt like an eternity. Like
There's one part I know in the middle of the movie where they did that. They showed the house, and it just lingered, and you snapped.
Yeah.
Your brain just snapped.
I started laughing
like
uncontrollably.
Will just could not stop fucking laughing, and
it broke me.
he was doing that thing where he was like laughing and like waving his hand at the screen, like what the fuck is this?
I couldn't help it
Because it wouldn't cut. You're just sitting there like
it's awkward. It's so awkward to watch. That's why I started laughing because it was like
it's like you're waiting to exhale or something. You're just like
well, and it's not
cut the scene.
How did they think it was scary? They're showing an exterior of a house that literally nothing is happening, and if they just show it for like, I swear to God, it was like a minute.
Padding.
It was like a minute long of just a still image of a fucking exterior of a house.
Pure padding.
Like, I don't get it.
But that is how this shit starts, because like,
sorry,
it's like,
I feel like I'm more complaining in this episode, but like, holy shit, like. It just
you don't need to show a house for a minute.
It's infuriating. The editing in this movie, you could have done such a better job.
No, but that's the thing is like that's how it starts, because it's like there's a thing that says 10 years later after the fucking kid murders the parents or whatever,
and you see a car pulling up and
they show the house, and again it's like a fucking minute long shot,
and then it finally like some audio kicks in. And then you see the car pulling up to the fucking like.
And it's just all these people get out, and all I can say is mumblecore.
It is. It's just a bunch of people making a fucking ruckus for like
2 minutes, and it's all like
2 minutes straight. But they're throwing their gear out, and like every time the gear hits the ground, it's like the slow-mo scene of it like bouncing
for no reason.
Literally no reason.
Like someone's backpack bouncing around.
I'm sorry that we're tearing this movie apart. I can't. I don't.
Sorry, but I don't
understand the fucking.
You have to have expected this nonsense for us to tear it apart, because
like,
I'm sorry.
People who have seen this movie, you have to just agree that it's a little ridiculous on how much they linger on certain shit. Like it's ridiculous.
Why is there slow-mo of backpack slipping over?
Well, and then like some guy rolls over it, and like it's slow-mo as he's like rolling over the fucking gear for no reason.
Nothing.
Well, and then we get some character building. I put that in quotes.
So it's like all a bunch of like couples, I guess.
Well, and so the guy in the car is like, well, don't worry, I'll tune her up like more than a college student.
She'll be tuned more than a woman on her honeymoon.
Yeah, she'll tuned up better than she'll be moving better than a woman on her honeymoon, or some weird anecdote.
The director's grandpa, who owned the van, this is my head canon.
I love how he gets a mate. I love.
He's in the credits.
I love shot on video because everyone gets a fucking credit in those. Okay.
Because it's just like who do we have? Who do we have?
Everyone gets a credit, especially the guy that was in it for legit like 30 seconds.
Because he had to say like, "Oh, I'll tune the van up." Blah blah blah, sex joke, and then he drives away.
So we get a couple. This is our like main couple.
Yeah.
So it's like just a really buff jock guy, and he plays this role to a fucking T.
My dude has the best eyebrows.
This eyebrow acting is next level. Like it is like impressive how much he acts with his like.
There's a scene.
His weird facial.
There's a fucking scene where they're doing like the seance shit with like the
my God.
the candle light.
And his like eyebrows are going fucking crazy.
Just
they're going fucking wild.
Epic.
It's like fucking. It's like EDC up on that bitch. Like it's
like...
just like they're going fucking up and down and fucking left and right and all over. And his eyes, I don't know what. It's so weird because it's like this uncanny valley effect. Yeah. But his eyes can go so fucking wide, and it looks so weird when he does it. Like it looks so weird. Like,
but it's great because like it's so. I mean, it's homebrew. So it's literally. I mean, here's the thing. That guy is related to the director.
I will admit, I think he is the best actor in the movie.
Oh! Please,
like easily. I mean, I know that's a low bar, but like,
listen, our director David Pryor has the camera. You know, he's the artiste behind the camera, and his brother, I'm assuming he's his brother, Ted, is the actor, I guess.
Because he plays the Jacques role like so well. Like he even has like the mannerism. I'm assuming he is a Jacques in real life.
I mean, okay, but, here's the thing. Everyone in this movie, this is how you know they're all like friends, because every dude in this movie is like buff.
Yeah.
I swear to God, it's some
It's a
guy,
bunch of meatheads.
his brother, and like their gym friends.
Yeah.
Like, I swear to God, that's what they did.
It's a bunch of meatheads hanging out in the cabin.
And maybe it's their real life girlfriends. Like, it's that level of homebrew where it's just like, we know each other.
So the girl and the guy are talking about some weird thing where
They're not.
he
Like,
doesn't want to like be. He's not.
she thinks he's not committed enough.
Yeah. Like he's afraid of commitment. It's just some bullshit. Then they walk in slow mo for no reason. And then he like pulls her hair and puts
Balance.
a beer on her head and like haha it all
This
in
scene
slow-mo.
goes on for like 3 minutes. I'm not kidding.
Seriously, it's like legitimately like 3 minutes of fucking screen time that could have been like maybe a 10-second scene. Like it's kind
no
of
point.
It's kind of insane because there's literally no point.
Nothing happens.
There's no character development. It's just
No, nothing happens. They just walk. They
well,
walk.
and that's what's infuriating about this movie. There's every time they try and develop characters, it's like some slow-mo bullshit scene.
Yeah, instead of like dialogue or, visually telling something, it's just they filmed a scene of them walking next to like grass.
Well, because next scene is them just at the dinner table, and they're just talking, and like, just it's up again mumblecore, just fucking them making a fucking ruckus.
Oh yeah, no, it starts
then-
fine, and then eventually like
And then one of the buff dudes, starts shoving a fucking. Oh no, we have to talk about the quote unquote character development scene before this. Our buff dude just looking in a fucking garage, and fucking looking at everything. And then pulls out.
I try to forget this scene.
He pulls out why? Because it doesn't fucking matter.
Because nothing
at all.
happens. It doesn't fucking go
He
anywhere.
picks up everything in the garage and then he pulls out this fucking thing. It like slow mo.
But don't forget, the whole time they're doing this, the whole time this scene is happening, they're doing like the sinister music.
Yeah,
And it keeps building.
yeah, and then he pulls out like some weird rod thing and like
Falls back.
trips and falls back. It freeze frames and you're like, oh, did he die or what? But no, he's in the fucking living room like the scene after,
Nothing.
and they're all drinking and talking
point.
about nothing, and then they have dinner about nothing, and the fucking buff dude tries to shove a whole fucking sandwich in his fucking mouth.
And then like he spits out some of it on like the girlfriend of our main guy, and then he like pours mustard on her head.
Well, no, remember, because he's like thinking it's hilarious, and then she shoves a pie in his face,
And then it's just
and then he dumps mustard over her head, and then
they all
start
a bunch
fucking
of grown
throwing
ass
food.
people have a food fight.
I don't.
And all during this, like in your
Maybe
head,
it's just me, but it's just not entertaining.
well, in my head,
It's
I'm thinking
not-
like, because this is like, I'm sorry, but this is like a good chunk of the way through the movie.
This is probably what 20 minutes
Like
in.
our descriptions of this are like severely truncated versions of the scene because the actual scene is long as hell.
They're really long. Like it's really long scenes. It takes a while to get into them, like the actual meat of this movie.
And it just keeps going and going, and then like
That's what's again infuriating.
and then it's like it's nighttime, and we get the fucking shot of the house,
For like
a picture.
way too fucking long.
And it's like a minute,
And then
and then it's just like a shot of a hallway. I swear to God, it's a shot of a hallway for like 1 minute, and nothing happens. And then like that, like one of the girls.
the three women are like getting changed after the food fight, and one of the girls goes in to take a shower, and she's going into the bathroom, and I mean, this is how little this movie cares about building tension, because when she enters the bathroom,
There's a shadow.
It starts playing the sinister music. You see a shadow in the shower already.
Yeah.
Right. So you're like, oh well, there's someone in the shower. I wonder what's
Maybe it's
going
the
on.
killer. I don't know.
Maybe it's the killer. Maybe he's just waiting. She takes out the towel, and then she opens it, and we get this really awkward scene of the guy like pretending to hang himself in the one of the dudes pretending
He's playing
to
a joke on her.
hang himself in the shower, and like turns to her and is like, "What'd you expect me to do?" Blah blah blah. Like just
And then
it's
like
just-
nothing happens.
well, like again, in any other movie, you wouldn't show the shadow in the shower.
No, you wouldn't.
You
yeah.
wouldn't show anything in the shower.
Filmmaking.
You know what you'd do? Build tension and then have a jump scare.
Yeah.
I
Instead of
don't
just-
even like jump scares, and I would build a better jump scare than that.
Yeah, but no. And then after that, they're in the living room again, and our main guy, wants to have a séance.
Yeah, so he wants to
because there's been some
going.
bad things that happened in this house.
So he grabs a candle, and this is the most uncanny valley
This is
scene.
peak eyebrow acting.
This is like, well, and it's also uncanny because like it's weird because they have this weird lighting effect from the candle, and it makes like the characters. I don't know what it is. Maybe it was just me. It makes them look like they were like drawn onto the film because it's like such a weird
Well, because
like
you
lighting
because you
effect.
just see like his face.
Well, and when they show the other characters, their shadows,
Hmm.
it looks like they're like still images, but they're moving, and it's like it's such a weird.
Are you saying that there was some atmosphere in this film, Lou?
Well, they tried.
You say tried, but it's fine.
It didn't look good.
Because here's
I'm
the
just
thing.
saying it looked kind of weird.
Because we talked about, I mentioned earlier, there are baffling choices made in this film.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
okay, seance. Our guy is talking about this bad event that happened.
I love when they show his friend in the back, just like grinning, like from ear to ear, just like
Yeah, we got him.
Oh
We
yeah,
got
we
him.
got him. We got him.
We got him good.
And you know exactly what's going on
They're
because
going to play a joke.
well, because like I don't even
But-
understand like
No, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. My problem is we see
oh god yes
the opening of the film again.
yeah like
So he's like,
not shot for shot
There
like
was
the exact same.
there was a mom who, she was abusive to her son, and she came to this house to have sex with like some guy.
And you're like, okay, cool. Like, yeah, we get the story.
She shoved her, and she brought her child with him and shoved him into a room. And then we see
It shows the exact same scene from the very beginning.
with the slow-mo.
Yeah. Like, I'm not even kidding. It, like, literally, like, they didn't recreate it.
No,
It
it's the
is
same thing.
the same fucking...
They take the same shots from the
put
beginning
it
of the
in,
movie,
like, piss
but
water
dredge them in
filter.
piss water and make the audio worse.
I don't... You know what? This
So it's
was
like, not only is
a
it
weird artistic choice I wouldn't have made, but...
Oh, Will, are you telling me you wouldn't have showed the same scene?
No, I would not have.
Because here's the
you
thing,
know
like-
what that is? That's what we call
Lazy.
lazy. It's fucking lazy as shit.
Because
You don't have to film a new scene.
he says in dialogue, like, not number one, we saw the scene,
Well-
but number two, he's telling us in dialogue. So even if you're so stupid that you didn't get the beginning of the
Or
movie,
don't like. Do you have like short-term memory loss where you don't like understand that like okay that actually happened in this house? Cool, we get it.
like, he still tells it in dialogue, but no, they overlaid it.
Well, what's weird is they just could have had the dialogue and it would have been fine.
That would have been 100% fine.
Yeah, I would have been okay with that because he's explaining to the other characters what we saw in the beginning.
Yeah,
Which
but
is
instead,
fine.
we get that plus we see the scene again. So we see her come into the room with the guy, and he says, "Oh, damn, you're sexy," and they start making out. And then
We
again,
even get to see him die
we see his
again.
head caved in. The only joy I got is we did not have to watch her crawling back to
And
the
then we
wall
didn't
for a
have
whole
to
minute.
watch the sledgehammer splattering blood all over the wall.
But he says all that, and then he's like summoning the spirits. And in the meantime, the guy who's grinning, he goes up to a different room with
And
a stereo,
He grabs the stereo and he's like,
playing noise.
you don't hear him, but he's like laughing and pounding.
He's like,
He had to like ham up the fact that he was like playing a prank. Like they literally told him to ham it up because he's like literally like a little child just fucking pounding on the ground
And then, like, clapping his
laughing hysterically. It's so bad. It's so cringy to watch. Like
oh,
he's
it's
just
epic.
like in like the weirdest part. The part that makes it the most cringy is there's no sound when he does
No,
it.
there's only
It's literally there's literally zero sound when he does it. So he's just miming like being all excited. I just can't.
Oh, it's great.
Okay.
But in the meantime,
Alright.
was this?
So this is where
Did we see the sledgehammer? Yeah, we did. I totally forgot. There's a stupid.
oh yeah, it's a sledgehammer in the hallway, and
there's
she
a
like
scene where the woman, like when she's going to the shower, they show a shot of a sledgehammer in a hallway,
when she's like wondering like what the hell it is.
and then like later on when they go to the séance, it shows a sledgehammer again, and they like fade out the sledgehammer. And you mentioned it was like a fucking point and click game when you grab an item and it slowly fades
Yeah,
off.
yeah. And one like is like you picking up something.
Now, I didn't get it. I didn't get it at first. In my head, I was just like, is that them like showing us that someone picked it up? They couldn't just show like someone grabbing it. But now I get it.
Well,
'Cause
now
it's
we
not.
understand. I mean, I think we're getting the ending right. I hope.
Well, I mean, it's not physically. You know, it's not all there. Will.
Yeah. Well, anyway,
Like my brain's not
neither
all
is
there.
the fucking movie. Okay, the movie is not all there
Yeah,
either.
they weren't all there when they made the fucking
it's a
thing. Will.
Poor, very poor execution. But
But yeah, they they're doing the seance and like they're like, you dare summon me, and then like it picks like one of the other guys and
he
says like, I want to
stands
drink
up
your
and
blood.
he's all tough. He's like, hey, no, like this isn't funny. And
I
like,
want to drink your blood, and then
and
like
then we
it
get
shows.
this really awkward scene of the guy miming upstairs, and he like leans back, and you just see this guy slowly,
It's a knife. No,
like very slowly, drive this knife into this guy's neck, and like just you see a close up of the like the hand driving the knife in more, but
Yeah.
it's clearly just the hand sliding on the
fine.
knife to make it look like it.
and they have a little
Which
bit
is
of
fine.
like they have like the fake blood coming out, and then like he's dead, and he drags him away.
With like, because he has the knife, like fucking like Frankenstein's bolts, and this is
He just drags him away,
drags him away by his neck,
and then it's like that scene just ends, and they're all just sitting around,
talking, and don't even care that like literally one of them is missing.
and then like they're all making fun of like roasting the guy and being like calling him like a wimp and all this stuff,
Well,
and then like
the buff guy's like, "Oh, it was just a joke.
guys, it
we're
was just a joke. Like
we're just playing a
it was just me
prank."
and Joey playing a prank. And then, like, he goes upstairs or whatever, and he goes up to that room where the guy was with the stair, and he finds blood on the floor.
Well, and he doesn't. He literally almost like zero reaction to that. Like
He just has mild confusion.
well,
what
and
the
he's
fuck?
like, he even says at one point that he thinks he might be okay. He just has to find him.
Well, because his thing. Well, so when his like girlfriend or whatever comes upstairs, and she sees it, and he's telling her, and she's like, "Oh, come on," because he's worried initially.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, he's probably just playing another stupid prank."
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "Well, I'll look for him, but I don't know. Maybe he is playing a prank."
What happens? What's the next scene? Is it the
Well,
virgin scene?
at this point, this movie goes so off the rails. I'm gonna say yes. It's the fucking scene where they're all like,
They're all hanging out again, and one of the women is like really frustrated because her boyfriend doesn't want to do anything, and
they're playing like charades or something, yeah. And she's like, "I'm gonna go upstairs. Come with me."
he's like, no, let's just stay down here and hang out. And she's like, I'm gonna take my top off. Like
front
he's
of
like,
everybody.
okay, do it. And she like starts taking.
And he's like, "No, stop it." And then they go upstairs.
Well, because like she had a conversation with the two other women in that scene where she goes to the shower.
But she's waiting for him to put out.
Yeah, because like all the other women are getting it on.
She's not getting it.
She's not getting it. She's not getting that vitamin D.
And
So,
she wants him to put out. What's the deal? And in my head, I'm like, "What the fuck what's going on?" But the joke comes later for me
God.
because I mean, listen. I mean, I know it's a movie, but there are things that stretch my believability.
Like it can happen, which is
Sure,
fine.
it can happen.
Like I believe that, but in this group,
In this group,
in this context, I
It
don't
stretches.
I don't believe it for one single second that this actually happened.
because here's the thing: like they go upstairs.
It just seems so absurd that in this group of meatheads, this is what happens.
This is a thing that happens. Because they go upstairs to this bedroom, and she's like, "Come on!" Like I even brought a surprise, and she opens a closet.
She has like a sex
And
blanket.
she brings out a sex blanket, and I'm like, "That's okay. That's fine. That's fine." Listen, she didn't want to dirty up the communal bed. I guess it's fine.
She has a get down and boogie
She
blanket.
has a fucking dick blanket, and
dick.
they
dick
sit
blanket.
and they sit down, and she's like, "What's the matter?"
When you have to get low down and dirty, make sure you bring your dick blanket with you, okay?
And she's just like, "What's the matter?" And I'm just like, "What the fuck is going on? Are we gonna get something weird?"
I'd be like, "What's the matter? You just pulled out a fucking dick
Well,
blanket
the
and
guy's
said it
like,
was a
"Nothing,"
surprise." Yeah.
and he's all shaking. She's like, "Come on."
She's like, "You're trembling like a leaf. What's going on?" She's like, Don't." Wait a minute. Are you a virgin? And I'm just like, oh,
And I'm like,
holy
"Wait a
Lord.
minute. That's what's going on."
Holy Lord. And she's like, don't worry. I'll be gentle for your first time or something
That
like
is,
that.
he's a virgin.
Like, I just
It
don't.
stretches the
I
believability.
don't believe it because there is no other scene even remotely that gives away this. You get her talking about how he won't put out, and then he's a virgin.
Because every other scene, that's totally normal. They're
Well,
totally normal.
okay, and I get that. Like, okay, fine, it's okay that he's a virgin, whatever. But in this group, with like how like they all talk about women and like how like much they talk about women,
Yeah.
I don't buy that for a single. It's not believable at
Yeah,
all.
because like the movie starts, and in my head,
I know we're focusing way too much on this, but it is so unbelievable.
But here's the thing: like, as soon as this group shows up in the beginning of the movie, and they're all frolicking around, like in your head immediately, you're like, they're all fucking.
Well, they
There's not a
obviously.
single. There's not a. It's not like, oh, they're on a date.
Well, it's not like even like movies in this generation, they would have like maybe like he would be a little nerdier, right?
Yeah. No. Oh, honey,
No,
forget it.
he's not
Unless,
nerdy at all. He's
here's
just
the thing. Maybe that's how the script was written. But our director hangs out with a bunch of like gym rats.
It kind of gave me that same impression of like when you see like a high school like movie and they're clearly all not high school age. That's like it's kind of the same feeling.
I thought you were gonna say when you watch a high school movie and there's like the ugly duckling character and it's just like they just have glasses or something.
I mean that's also
I'm
true.
shocked. I'm genuinely shocked they didn't make him wear glasses.
That is kind of true because I don't know. But yeah, it just gives it gives you like it took me out of the movie because it's like so unbelievable.
But then it's
But
fine.
then they just like start doing it,
And it's awkward and painful,
and
and
they
I
don't,
love it.
and they don't even use the dick blanket.
It's just like to the side.
It's to the side. They just start. Oh no, sorry. It's loosely covering his ass.
It's you know what it is? It's convenient censorship.
I've never seen two people laying on top of each other with a nice thigh shot.
Oh,
It's like Jesus.
it's so close to their thighs rubbing that you see the shadow of the
They
camera.
could probably feel the heat of the camera fan just being on their fucking on their legs.
Getting all toasty. Will.
Oh, say no more. You got the dick blanket and the heat of a nice camera.
You got.
Ooh.
Oh, you brought your friend with you.
Oh, you're
Okay.
speaking my language. Heated up in here. Let me
can't.
let me lay down the dick blanket.
I can't. And then
So they're like awkwardly making out naked on top of each other with like that's just how they did the scene.
and then it's just like shots of hallways, and our fucking guy shows up.
He like appears out of nowhere.
He just appears out of nowhere, and again, I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, you're like, what is going on?
And it's just this really fucking tall guy with a sledgehammer.
well, and then he like walks into the room, and they're like making out.
Okay, yeah, he walks in with. He grabs the door handle,
and then
and I swear to God, I know it's slow mo, but it's like not only is it slow mo,
but they told him to open
but they
the
told
door
him
as slow as
open
possible.
it, like if don't fucking move. And he finally opens it after an excruciating minute. He opens the door.
Like it's I've never seen I think the last like painful like slow-mo scene I actually watched that I can remember like being like I'm not as mad at this movie of course, but I brought it up, The Devil Times 5, cuz that slow-mo
You
scene,
timed that, and that was like 4 or 5 minutes long.
yes. But these are like shorter scenes, yes, but they're about as infuriating
Well, it's just baffling.
because it's just a guy opening a door.
But then it's like
It's just literally a guy's hand
Opening a door.
turning a knob and opening a door, and it takes like an eternity.
and then he walks in, and like presumably they're done doing it, so they're all like laying there, and then like
He like picks like you see like a first person shot of him picking her up, they do the murderer, and like just twisting her head
like a ninja.
and just snapping her neck.
There's no sound, by the way.
Oh wait, oh sorry, we also forgot that the avant-garde shot where they're both laying on top of each other, and you see the sledgehammer come into frame,
Epic!
come into frame, and then he pulls it back.
Points it to the camera. Oh, it's beautiful, Will. And then he pulls it back. Yeah, but yeah, and then he breaks her neck like a ninja,
And then he like slams.
and then the guy just kind of like, what?
Well, like he like slow, like it's all in slow mo again. So
Again.
he like this is why I don't like some slow mo, and when it's done,
Because it ruins it.
Really, because it looks so fucking hilarious. Because this guy just he's like barely has his eyes open, so it just like he's like what's going on
And then
here?
the sledgehammer hits him in the chest.
And he's like, oh.
And then it's all bloody, and he falls down dead.
Yeah, he flies back.
But it's like you could have filmed that normal, and you could have had a normal reaction.
But no, it just looks awkward. It looks like
it's painful.
It looks like a stoner, like just looking at like nature,
Yeah.
like just being mesmerized by nature, and it's just like as he's getting hit in the chest by a sledgehammer.
Oh God. And then our guy and like his girlfriend find the dead body of the Joker guy.
Yep.
And then he like tells him, okay, go upstairs and tell so and so to come down. And then she goes up and finds the bodies.
So she freaks out, and he's like, "No, we gotta stay here till morning, because."
Well, the guy, isn't there a fucking thing where the guy chases her down the hallway?
Oh
and he
yeah,
disappears?
no, yeah, that's after. Yeah, that's after she finds the bodies. So she runs down the hallway, and the guy like appears
And vanishes.
appears and vanishes, and then appears and
We
vanishes.
also get a very brief shot of the killer guy for like, I swear, a second, where he's like going past like a wall, and now it's the kid. But he's wearing like this, I mean, because the killer wears like this mask.
Yeah.
I swear to God, this is a super fucking obscure reference. But there's a movie called Miss 45, and there's a guy in that movie who I swear to God looks the same as this fucking killer, where he's wearing like this, like, I don't even know what it is. It's like this skin-tight mask that like distorts your face or
Well,
something.
I mean, it's used in. It's.
I can't, I don't know.
You can find them also like they even have them in like Halloween stores now, where it's like it's the clear mask, but it has some makeup effects on
Yeah.
it, so it looks like weird.
Yeah.
On your face, like it looks like you're distorted.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of mask they're using.
That's what he's wearing, and like, but we get a quick shot of the kid.
But
with
they,
a
for some
sledgehammer
reason,
wearing the same thing.
I don't understand why. They like shove this mask underneath this guy's lip, so his like top white teeth are like showing, and they always have him like grinning really wide for some. I don't understand why.
Effect.
But so she gets chased and she's all freaked out, obviously, and she goes back in the living room and they're like, "We got to stay here. Like we're like we need to kind of regroup." What happens to the buff dude's girlfriend? Because isn't it just the three of them now?
What does happen to her? She had to have died.
I just don't remember how.
I don't either. I know she died. I'm not insane. Did they forget? I can't be. Come on. Come on.
I'm not rewatching it.
I'm not rewatching it either.
I'm sorry.
But
that
come
we're
on,
missing
she
that.
had to have died.
I don't remember, because I swear to God, it's the two die and then she gets chased in the hall.
No, because they fall asleep. The three of them fall asleep. Our main character, his girlfriend, and the buff guy's girlfriend fall asleep.
Yes. And the buff
While
guy.
he's sitting in the chair.
Yes.
Because basically what happens is
Because he's standing
they
guard.
regroup, and then our guy is like, okay, we're going to wait till like the sun rises.
And the guy's like, "Why are we waiting until the sunrise? We gotta like go. We have to like get a head start now."
And then it's like, okay, wait till sunrise because then we can at least hike out of here in daytime and
Yeah.
whatever.
We know where we're going.
So they all fall asleep on the couch while the guy keeps watch with the sledgehammer.
And he falls asleep because he finds the sledgehammer in the hallway.
Yeah.
And then he like falls asleep and he wakes up and there's no sledgehammer.
And after this, I don't even know how to explain this movie because it goes insane. It's pure insanity.
It goes places that I wasn't really expecting, and you know what?
I'm
Still don't.
I remember what happened to her. She got stabbed,
Oh, right.
and the
Okay.
kid was like, "I
Yeah.
stabbed mommy." Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember now. Okay.
Yep. So we'll get there.
But
So
so
there's four of them left.
the guy like starts walking around. He goes to the kitchen, gets a knife,
Yep.
goes up the hallway, and walks to this door, and
Well, he sees a kid in the hallway.
yeah, he's a
remember?
kid running away from him.
And then he's like, "Hey kid, like wait up!" And then he like goes, and the door like closes behind the kid, and
And
he
he starts
like,
pounding on the door.
and then he like teleports
He
into the room.
teleports into this room with.
Can I just
my
like
God.
quick shout out here?
Please.
If anyone can explain,
No. You're not getting one. There's no explanation. No.
if someone has a theory, just at me. Like, please explain to me what the fuck is
There
happening
is no
here.
theory. This is pure insanity.
If you think you have an idea, because I think I kind of get it, but if you have a more clear explanation on it, please let me know. I am so confused on like this whole fucking scene. Is so fucking confusing.
It's insanity.
So he like teleports into the room, and there's like pentagram drawn on the wall
With blood.
and there's the two fucking dead people from the beginning.
From the very beginning of the movie.
And he's holding, like, the guy, the lover, is holding a fucking newspaper crumpled up, and it's like he opens it and it says like woman and man brutally slain,
Son missing.
son still missing.
Yeah. And then he's like, it's the goddamn kid. And then he like there's like a fucking closet and he opens it and it's the guy.
You see the guy, he comes out, he tries to swing the sledgehammer, they like have a tussle, and then the guy like the sledgehammer guy knees the guy a bunch of times in the side, and the guy like stabs the knife into him and thinks he's dead.
And then the next scene is like they're all running up to like this like hallway, and they're walking there, and then our guy shows up, but now the knife
Is in his back.
is in his back and he's dead.
Like, they didn't. I'm not kidding you when I say that is how that happens.
No. And then after
He
this, I
stabs
honestly
the
don't
guy,
even know.
The guy's dead. He gets out of the door. He sees the people in the hallway, and then he falls down dead with a knife in his back. That is literally what happens.
After this, I honestly don't know, because what I remember is the kid stabs his girlfriend to death, and then our buff guy and his girlfriend teleport into the fucking room.
Well, remember they like try and go back into the room because the woman goes into the room to look for the buff guy, and then
the door closes.
She gets stabbed to death by the kid, and then they get teleported into the room, and like you see the girlfriend's body,
And there's like a bunch of knives in her, and the kid's like, "Mommy was bad, and I
Mommy
killed her."
was bad. I saw her with another man that wasn't daddy, and I had to kill her.
And then
like
our-
that's and it's like this weird like sped up like Mommy was bad, and I had to kill her.
And it's all like in blue light, and our guy like kind of like goes down to the kid, and he's like about to like start fucking choking him out, and I'm just like, are we gonna get like
I
a
love
scene?
when he like tries to like sucker punch the kid.
Well, this is insane because he's like, I swear to God, I was like, are we gonna get a fucking guy like a jock choking the living shit out of a kid? Because I'm not gonna lie, that would be kind of awesome. But he's about to do it, and this girlfriend's like, no, what are you doing? And then the kid fucking bit slaps him.
And then he gets up and he tries to punch him.
Sucker
but,
punch
like,
him.
But like
And I
it's
swear
like
to God,
like a
they do
force
like
field.
that thing of like, I don't even know how to explain it. It's like if it's like a Looney Tunes cartoon where it's like when someone punches somebody, and I swear in my head I could hear that like sound effect of when someone gets punched, and it's like that like metal sound,
Like tung.
dung, and then because he like punches him, it's like dung, and then he's like his hands all hurt, and the kid just like stands there like,
Yeah, it's like when in like a cartoon when a guy tries to like punch a robot.
yeah.
Like tung, like
And it's just that like the sound effect, and the guy's like, ow, and the robot just stands there. That's what it was like. And it's just,
and then the kid
like the next thing is like the kid's like a fucking, it's the adult.
and then like it like pans up like this guy's like fucking
I
like,
swear to God, it's like Godzilla.
like 10 feet tall, like a fucking kaiju just came in the fucking room.
They do this thing with the camera where I swear to God, like
They
'cause
make
here's the
him
thing.
look like he's fucking like
The
massive.
guy's already tall, right?
He's tall. They didn't need to do this
Because when you
because
have him, like, next to our guy, he is huge.
this guy is a fucking tall dude already.
But here's the thing, like, when they film him, like, they obviously told him to, like, kind of, like, kneel down a little. And then when they start shooting him from the back, it's like, they told him to slowly stand up, and then they're all, like, looking at him, like, in awe, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like a kaiju movie now?
Yeah, seriously. It's like now he's as fucking big as like a skyscraper. Like what the fuck?
What is happening? And then, like, he starts fighting, and then he like knocks the guy against the wall a bunch, and I'm like, okay, he's dead, I
And
guess.
throws him down to the ground, and then starts giving chase to the woman.
And it's all like pure metaphysical insanity.
Well, because he like disappears and appears all the time.
There's doors that are closed and doors that open on their own.
Well, what's weird is she like goes into like the kitchen, and then she finds the guy hanging from the knife like set up again.
Yeah.
For some reason, even though we already know he's dead. I don't know why this is like such a shock.
And then she sees, like, you know, the shadow of the sledgehammer on a wall next to her, and then he instead appears right behind her. She runs in the kitchen, like, stabs him with the knife. It does nothing to him.
Yeah, just pulls it out and then
she runs
into the living room.
So she runs to a
Well, because she runs
upstairs.
She runs to the door where the virgin was getting it on.
Yeah,
and she's gonna tie like a sheet and to like the closet pole and get out of the house, right?
And she's like doing this, and again we get the slow mo door opening.
Oh my fucking god!
He opens it, walks in, and she starts attacking him with the baseball bat.
And she like beats him down and then tries to get up the window, but
and then he just stands up and she just kicks him in the nuts.
And then runs out.
And then she runs back downstairs, and now where that body was hanging, there's no body, but I guess he was like strung up in like.
Is this also where she like walks into the room and sees like the cobwebs on the door, and like
that was the fucking. I don't even remember who saw that.
How, like,
I remember that.
Because that's the slowest door opening of all time.
That was the buff guy.
Yeah, because like there was like a door covered in cobwebs because it was
the closet.
Like, the kid's
Yeah.
dead body, but like it takes him so fucking long to open the door.
Listen, it was out of practice. Okay,
it was painful.
It was fine.
So yeah, she runs into like this other room
where the body was hanging. And now there's like a electrical wire.
So she shocks the shit out of him.
She closes the door, wraps the wire around it, and when the guy tries to open it in slow motion, it shocks him.
It's like Home Alone style fucking antics now.
But she opens the door and he's still there, and like he, beats her down, and he's about to kill her.
And then the fucking buff guy, like
her boyfriend,
takes his hands together and fucking beats this guy down.
Beats Godzilla up. And
then he takes his sledgehammer, and we get this weird. They try going for style in this scene.
I do appreciate this.
I kind of appreciate it because they actually tried something.
Well, it's different. It's not just the same old shit.
They put the mask on the camera,
so it's like a POV shot through the guy's mask as he's like fighting our guy. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of cool.
It's pretty effective. I'm not gonna give this scene shit because it's pretty effective and it's cool. It makes it's actually like probably one of the better scenes in the entire movie.
Yeah, it's got style. It's not just point and shoot.
And we see the guy through the like lens, like grabbing the sledgehammer and like beating this guy to death. And it's pretty cool when they like lays down because like his mask is all like filled with blood.
And it's like it almost looks like part of his head's like caved in.
When it looks like it's weird because like the mask has been like repositioned on his face, so it looks all fucked up and like, just really grotesque. Because they put a shit ton of blood on it.
Yeah.
And it does look pretty effective because of the low. This is where I can kind of understand because of the low quality, and like the potato quality. It does look creepier than it would if it was clean.
Because then you'd see the flaws.
Like if it wasn't like gritty and like just kind of like low down and dirty. Because you would see the flaws in the mask if it was like a professional film camera. But that's about all about all the praise I'm gonna give that.
But then, like, he's dead, finally, after all this insanity.
And so he grabs the woman and they go out of the house and
then the camera pans up.
And
to
you
the
see
fucking
the kid in the window
with the mask, and then it
and
ends.
credits.
Now,
You know what? I tried. I really did. I know I'm giving this movie a lot of shit, but I don't think they did a good job,
because I said after the movie ended, I was like,
like,
it's
conveying that,
a cool
like, the
idea.
message.
Like the idea of there's a house and some horrific shit happens and there's a missing child.
Yeah.
And then like years later, people go to this house to camp out or whatever, and you have like a killer in the house, and it's like.
Well, honestly, it would be kind of cliche because like the kid would be the killer, obviously, right?
But here's
But,
where it's
like,
cool, is where it's not. It doesn't make sense physically.
that's why it's like subverting the expectations, like, right? Because you think like, okay, so the son got out, killed everyone, whatever.
And now it's an old man.
But now, no, it's like a spirit now. So then now it becomes like a supernatural element
Yeah.
to it, where this kid can manipulate the fucking whole entire
Where
house.
the whole like your logic goes out the window, and it's like
It just becomes like a living nightmare.
it's a nightmare, and all of our characters are now like trying to fight against this thing that they can't even comprehend.
Honestly, that's a really cool concept.
It's a cool concept.
Like, I'm sure it's been done before, and
Yeah.
I'm sure I've seen it like in some shape or form. But like, I get what they were trying to do. I just don't think they had the brain power to execute it
Well,
as well as they wanted
Like
to.
I said,
Just because it falls apart. Like, it just.
you have to sit through a lot of weird choices.
I think, honestly, if I'm being completely honest, if they took the slow-mo and the still images out, I think it would be a much more entertaining movie.
Well, because then you could at least like
Well, okay,
get
so
some horror enjoyment out of it.
there's three things that need to happen that can actually
Hmm.
be effective, right? So this would be an effective home movie
Yeah.
if they took out the slow-mo, they took out the still images, and they took out the showing of the first murder.
Oh God.
Because
Yes.
if they change those three things, I think you have a pretty solid like
Quick thing,
indie
yeah.
home movie that's like an hour and 15 minutes, short, sweet, gets to the point, like this metaphysical, like, horror,
Yeah.
where this kid is like haunting this entire house and killing people with a sledgehammer because he was locked in a closet. That would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
But they just overutilized certain effects.
And like the fact that they don't explain like what happened. I mean, I don't mind
I'd be more-
necessarily,
I mean, I'm okay with an ambiguous ending,
but it's just like
but they didn't. We only get the backstory that we saw, right?
Right.
Like, we don't, and there's not really any character development. Like, none of the characters like are stronger at the end. Like, the buff dude is still just a buff dude, and the final girl is just a final girl. There's no.
well. There's not even any indication that she will even be a final girl.
Right, and like,
Because up till that point, all the characters are kind of equal.
but what's weird is we don't get a feel for how any of the characters, like there's some chemistry, but it just feels like a bunch of friends hanging out. We don't get like any story or backstory behind any of them or how they met or what,
Yeah.
like, whatever. There's no immersive element
Yeah.
to like why we should care about these characters getting killed.
No.
There's literally nothing to like cement, like, oh dang, he was my favorite character. I'm sad he died.
Yeah.
Or he was because everyone was the comedic relief.
Literally.
Like,
Everyone's the same.
It was just weird because like in horror movies you have like the stern, like, solitary type
The
that,
straight
like,
character, yeah.
yeah, and then you have like the comedic relief that gets killed first or whatever. Like, if you want to do that cliche, but like you care about these characters, right?
Yeah.
In most slasher movies. Except
Yeah.
this one, they didn't. They're just like, nope, you don't have to care about anyone
You don't
because
gotta
who
care.
fucking cares? One guy's a virgin. That's about the only fucking character development we get.
That
is
comes out of
literally-
nowhere.
That is literally the only, like, one of the only character development moments we get, and it's nonsensical and shouldn't have been in the movie. Frankly, like, it
Yeah.
doesn't make sense to the context of the movie.
It adds nothing. It changes nothing.
They still die.
Yeah, nothing changes.
There's still a sex scene, so why does he need to be a virgin?
I know there's no there's no build up
I
to
just
that.
don't understand the choices they made because there seems to be no sense or logic to them.
No. They had a vague idea of like what kind of a horror movie they wanted to make, but then everything else is just kind of like it just feels like they made it up as they went
It's just
along.
kind of a shame because I think it could have been good.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like I think it could have been better. Even if they kept the same scenes, you could have edited this better to make a pretty solid movie.
Yeah, because once you could have made it to where it's like, okay, it's tolerable, and then you get to the ending when all hell breaks loose.
And I think that's the most frustrating part for me is just like I see what they were going for,
What it could have been.
but they just didn't
I didn't
hit
stick the
them.
landing.
No, hell no. It's frustrating because like the slow mo scenes are so infuriatingly bad. Like
And they kill
are annoying as hell.
any tension, any emotion you're feeling. As soon as those slow mo scenes come in, it's a vacuum. It's gone.
It is so overused. It just becomes like tedious to watch it.
Yeah, it's
It's nonsensical. There's no rhyme or reason to the slow mo, and they overutilize it to no end, and it's infuriating.
as you said, it's rough.
It's a rough watch. I'm not gonna lie. It's an hour and 24 minutes, and holy shit, it literally it feels way longer than that. I swear to God, we were watching it for like 3 hours. It's like one of those. It's like that reverse effect of where like you watch a 3 hour movie and you're like that didn't feel like 3 hours at all. It was so entertaining. I loved like every single second of it. Nah, this is like the opposite effect. It was like an hour and 24 minutes, not even like fully feature length,
No,
and it felt. You felt that hour and 24 minutes. Like your fucking life was slipping away. Especially the slow mo scenes. My God. But
shitty to pretty.
I. So
Because
I didn't hate this. It's not a one. I don't know. Like I think for me it's like probably a 3 or 4.
I was gonna give it a 3.
Like a 3 I think sounds good because it's it's not even middle of the road, but like I like the concept. I like some of the scenes. So that's why it bumps it up to like a 3.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, if the whole movie was like that first half, I would have given it a 1 probably.
Well, yeah, it would have been like it definitely would have earned that 1.
But once shit hits the fan,
I
mean,
did like the craziness at the end. I appreciated it because they just kind of
it's different.
They went to they went to the moon with it, and
It's
they're just
different.
like whatever. Let's just try it, which is fine.
They had no money and they tried it.
It's
It's fine.
endearing in the fact that they tried it, but it's just not enough to save the movie.
No.
Like there's no way in hell you could get me to watch this movie again.
Oh no!
Like if you like did a super cut where you took out all the slow mo, that fucking stupid ass seance scene, and you fucking like took out the still images they used, maybe I'd watch it. But then of course it'd only be like maybe 50 minutes long.
I mean, it would be interesting to see someone make a fucking edit of this where they took out all the stupid shit.
I mean, it might be it might be like a good short film.
But if someone did that, I would say that is the only way you should watch this movie.
Yes, if you edit it yourself and take out all that bullshit,
You take out the slow mo, you take out the stupid
then
flashbacks.
fine. Enjoy your short film.
Then you'll have a nice little thing
Yeah.
that you can maybe glean some joy out of.
Yeah.
I mean, it is entertaining. I'm not gonna lie, but
It's entertaining, but it also like kind of breaks you. Like it broke me. So
I halfway through when you saw
I just lost it. I like
that still shot of the house
I
for
just
a minute,
kind of went mental for a minute. Like
you actually snapped.
I couldn't.
Your brain actually.
I was literally uncontrollably laughing. I don't know why. I just something snapped, and I just lost it a little bit.
How often does that happen?
Not very often. I
No.
mean, it takes a special movie to do that.
It takes a special combination of nonsense.
Kudos to Sledgehammer for bursting my brain for just a moment.
Good job,
It's been
David
a
Pryor.
while. I think the last one was like I think Savage Water broke me.
Well, Savage Water was, I mean, that was the worst thing I've ever fucking seen in my life.
Like like I think the last thing that broke me was that scene where she's in like the outhouse
Oh, and
and
they're all like
they're
messing
all
with her
like
for no reason.
messing with her for
When
no
the
reason and
kid
like
pisses on
he
it.
like pisses on it and she's like it's all this ADR bullshit and like just bad. Oh god, it's so badly edited.
That was only like 20 minutes into that movie.
Oh, I that broke me. Like that scene, I don't even know.
That movie actually.
I literally could not comprehend what the fuck they were thinking with making that scene.
I can't comprehend
That
what
or
they
the
making that
ending,
movie.
or the ending of Savage Water, like that.
Twister-Rooney.
Oh my god, it was the worst fucking twist I've ever seen in a movie.
That was a special movie.
Yeah,
Listen, no matter what, the people who made this know that they made a better movie than Savage Water.
this movie is not Savage Water, which is good.
Thank God.
Thank
It's not. Listen, it's not.
God.
It's not even a 2 out of 10. It's a 3.
Nope, it's a 3.
That's fine.
It's a solid 3, and that was Sledgehammer, and we're done, and we don't have to think about this movie ever again.
We don't. Unless
you would like-
someone brings it up again in a comment later on down the road.
If you would like to watch it, it is on YouTube.
The whole
although
thing.
I do not recommend it because you're going to have to sit through a lot of bullshit.
Unless you're really.
If you're
Unless all this appeals to you.
if you're dedicated enough, go for it. But I mean, you might like it. Who am I to say you won't like it? But
You might appreciate those little touches. I didn't, but you might appreciate them.
yeah, I mean, to each their own.
It's fine.
So go enjoy it if you'd like. It's on YouTube. Just search Sledgehammer 1983,
There you go.
and there you go. It's right there.
That's the movie.
So yeah, I think that's it.
That's it.
So for They Mostly Come Out at Night, this has been Will.
This has been Alex.
And we'll talk to you all later.
Bye.